Welcome to the Book Binge. I am your host, King Crusoe. You can call me KC, and today's episode is a little bit different than it was originally intended to be. I was supposed to do a review of The Dead Zone by Stephen King today. That turned out not really working out because my reading the last couple months due to real life work schedule and some other stuff that I've got going on being basically downright impossible to do any real reading recently. As a result, I didn't have an actual video that I needed to do today, so I decided to kind of do this one on a whim because, well, it's Sun Eater time. It's definitely the year of the Sun Eater for us on the fan Discord. Not officially formed by Christopher Rocchio himself, but by his blessing by a friend of mine, and which I helped moderate, the Red Company, which you can join by clicking the link in the description below or in the pinned comment. Once I get a pinned comment on there, we are reading the full series, not counting short stories or novellas or anything like that, just the 7 main books, or rather rereading the first 6 books ahead of Book 7's release. As you would have seen there right at the beginning of the video with that little thumbnail, we're going to be reading Empire of Silence this month in May, which I know it's a little bit late at this point, pretty close to the end of the month, but you're still free to join and read along if you would like. We're not, using any super hard or fast rules according to, what we're reading and when. If you want to catch up on other things, that's fine. And some of us aren't even necessarily going to be reading every single book in the order, depending on what our schedules allow for. But next month in June is going to be Howling Dark. Then in July, we're going to read Demon in White. Of course, in August will be Kingdoms of Death. September will be Ashes of Man. October, Disquiet Gods. And then November 18th, Shadows Upon Time will be released, the final book in the series. And we're, of course, going to read that all together. So if you're interested in the series, if you're a first-time reader, don't be worried. We're still open to having new readers in for the read along. Just be aware that some people's spoiler thoughts are going to be geared towards viewing the series as a whole, looking at foreshadowing and stuff like that. And those comments will always be spoiler tagged saying full series if you're worried about any of that. Otherwise, any of the spoilers, you're perfectly free to join along, even if you are a first-time reader, but especially if you're rereading the series or planning on rereading the series ahead of Book 7's release. I highly encourage joining us in the Red Company while we do this little read-along. I myself am currently working on my reread of Empire of Silence, and I'm going to be working on Howling Dark, hopefully through most of next month. I may not be caught up with everybody else according to the rest of the reread, especially once you get later in the year. My reading schedule this year is all sorts of messed up in the first place anyway. Throwing this read-along in kind of more or less willy-nilly is not exactly great for my schedule, but I am joining for these first couple of books for sure. And if, like I said, if you're planning on reading the series ahead of the final book, or if you're planning on rereading the series ahead of the final book, I highly encourage that you join us there. Now, if you click that join link in the description or in the pinned comment, that will take you to the channel called Earth, which is the welcome channel. It has all the rules and stuff lined up in there, so you should be able to read all that. But in the general discussions tab in the server, near the bottom of that tab is a channel called Latara Read-Alongs, and that channel is where those read-alongs happen, where all of the server read-alongs happen. For now, that channel is a threads only channel, but once you click on that channel, the very first thing you're going to see at the very bottom of that thread will be, or at the very bottom of that channel, I guess, will be the thread for what is currently ongoing, the Empire of Silence reread. You'll be able to go in there and join right along, and we'll be making further threads for future books in the series. And I believe, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I believe we're going to be making a separate thread for each book as we get to it. So even if you are a little bit behind and you're only reading Empire of Silence, say in June next month or something like that, or if you just start now and therefore are a little behind, you're still running into June finishing the book, that's fine. We'll keep that thread open for people to be able to use as they want. Of course, we're going to keep those archived at the very end of all of this as well, so that we can have the memories of the read along and be able to track it for like foreshadowing and stuff like that, especially once we get to book 7. So that's all well, good, and exciting. So if you're interested, like I said, in reading it, I highly encourage you join us down below. Thank you for watching this video. If you did, I hope to see you guys in the server. For now, I have been your host, King Crusoe. You can call me KC. I hope to see you along in the read along, and I hope to see you guys in whatever I post next.